Yeah, yeah, I can see in Discord. Yep, you're perfect. You think so? You want to cut it? I'm ready.
Welcome to another edition of Angry Cops Livestream. Today is a special day. Not only is it a Saturday and a weekend, but it's also in the middle of the day. I figured I'd try something out before football season starts getting kicked off. As always, if you want to support the channel, go ahead and check out angry-cops.com, where you can get fantastic This Old Crack House t-shirts and all other shenanigans. A Halloween shirt's going to be coming back this year soon for October. I know you want to get a hold of that. People who like Halloween are super intense into Halloween. They like to get that. But today, on top of being a Sunday, on top of going live during football times, we have a special guest. His name is Veteran with a Sign, or Zach. Everybody welcome Zach. Welcome Zach to the live stream. Here he is, in the flesh and blood. He made it.
Oh no.
Or can you not hear me anymore?
No, it lagged for a second. We're good. They're trying to
Okay.
take us down. They're trying to take us down.
Yeah, the government is trying to take us down. So Zach, I brought you on today, like a podcast-ish kind of episode, because you posted something interesting and disturbing the other day on Instagram, and it got me fired up. I know you were pissed off about it because we talked like briefly about it. In fact, I told you I don't want to hear you say any more about it. I want you to save the anger and just get super pissed off and remain that way for the next day and a half until you come on here, so then we can talk about it together. Because I know we're both gonna get pretty miffed.
I have 3 speeding tickets so far from this issue.
Because you holding it all in, just white knuckling it. I'm gonna let it all loose.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was, officer. Have you heard about what 1-4 did?
So yeah, briefly describe what happened with 1-4, and then we're gonna go. I already have the one of the screenshots of your messages with the Marines from 1-4, but go ahead and briefly describe like what happened, like why we're both irritated and probably gonna start screaming in the next 10 minutes.
Yep. First off, let me say, long-time listener, second-time caller. No, I'm gonna pull it up, so I want to be precise. So I was cruising the internet like most men in their 30s, and I often try to like my finger on the pulse of issues, try and be culturally not relevant, just aware of what's going on, right? We're both in different stages of our lives, and most people in the military understand that. But I'm trying to be guys like speaking truth to power a little bit.
Oh God!
And you love it.
You're one of those people. I have a platform. I have to be responsible now.
Well, no. I was really just like scrolling stories, and I came across the story of Tyler Vargas Andrews whistling death on all platforms. Everyone should follow him.
Yeah, his interview with Sean Ryan on the Sean Ryan podcast was huge. I watched the entire thing.
He's an incredible young man. So he was in town last week. I just called him in town. We got a bite. We hung out. We even actually saw Sean because he came in for an event and then he jetted out. But last week, week before last now, was the anniversary of the event that happened in HKIA. And so if anyone doesn't know, he also testified in front of Congress. He himself was on the ground, ran a sniper team, had positive ID, the whole thing, passed it up to his chain of command. And you can listen to the Sean Ryan Show episode to find out exactly what happened. And also just check out his testimony in front of Congress.
And when you say positive ID, you mean you had positive ID of the suicide bomber that later on detonated and caused the loss of life and then his injuries.
Multiple reports. I mean, the kid, he's a young man. I mean, he's an incredibly young man. First off, the blast killed 13 people. He lost one of his arms, one of his legs. He's peppered with shrapnel, and like he still works out every day. He's still out there carrying this responsibility and talking about these issues. And so
carrying the boats.
He's carrying the boats. He can carry David Goggins. David Goggins. He's got David Goggins up above his head while
in a boat.
David is carrying
as David Goggins yells, "Who's carrying the boats?"
Good job. You're doing good, buddy.
Yeah.
But he put up this post, and this page, Raid Team Co. was like, it had a screenshot of some text from a Marine that said, the first thing is, and I want to read this. This has to be read. And first off, Tyler was like, I wish people would just stop. But the first text of the thing says, in quote, 2-1 was getting ready to redeploy when they got the call. Do you think they were ready? About to redeploy? They were complacent. When everything went down, not to speak ill of the dead, but they weren't prepared. That's what the battalion commander of 1st Battalion's 4th Marines said to his Marines about the casualties of HKIA, Kabul, and Afghanistan. He said that the Marines of 2-1 weren't prepared, and that's why they died. That's literally what he said.
And this was after they failed. So even a larger story is like these Marines in 1-4.
That's what hooked me. That's what hooked me in.
That's what hooked you in. Okay, so then you do some deep dive, and you're like, why did this person say this? what is the context? I can't just get mad at something.
Dude,
I need to figure
I
out
can't.
why they said that
Yeah.
these Marines died because of their own complacency. Why would you say such a dumb thing? Perhaps there's a good reason. Maybe a teaching aspect of it. Please go on.
Yeah. So I was like, surely that this battalion commander, like on average, you've done like at least 15 years. You're in the 15 to 20-year range of your military career. You've been in it for a while. You're pretty seasoned. You should have seen a few things. You should have gone and deployed once during the longest war ever. But apparently that's not always the case. So I do some deep diving. I reach out to this guy, and I continue to read. 1/4th Battalion Commander Lieutenant Colonel Miha, I don't know how to say that, had a surprise service Charlie inspections with 48 hours notice. First off, no one ever passes a service Charlie inspection. Ever.
What is the Charlies?
Like,
is that the short sleeves for you Marines? The khaki
short
Marines?
sleeves? It's the brown paper bag one. You know,
Okay.
honestly, it's that color, right? And short sleeves, and I should say no one ever passes them. We always pass them, but like you used to always have that stuff prepped. But I had a really good squad leader and had a really good, like. There's just little things, especially when you're in an infantry unit. If you can avoid getting in trouble for them, you go out of your way.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that was what was instilled in me. That was what was instilled within my company as a whole. But, like, we know other people didn't do that. I'm trying to be disparaging of it, but I don't want to be dismissive of the fact that, like, the day you got promoted, my squad leader always say, like, listen, you got more money today. You'll have more money next month, but, like, go buy your uniforms now because it'll just help.
Mm-hmm.
Also helps in case you get promoted, too. So, anyways... trying to pull things. So, screenshot it. So they're doing a service Charlie inspection. No big deal. Whatever. It's something you do on the weekend when you know guys are going to get caught. So like usually they do these like when they're trying to use them as punishment or whatever, or they just don't want you to go wild on the weekend. They'll do it when you've just came out of the field on a Thursday. Hey, guess what? Surprise inspection on a Friday. You're still hosing down your gear. That's a common thing that happens.
It's Labor Day weekend this weekend. It's a 4-day weekend. So the command is like, you know what? I don't want these guys going ham. Maybe I didn't really like what they did in the field. Maybe we could have been better. Instead of just being honest and saying that, I'm going to do a surprise inspection of their service uniforms. They're obviously going to fail. There's going to be some failures. There's guaranteed to be 1 or 2 people there that just can't do it, whether a legitimate reason or not. And so now I'm going to be able to, inflict my punishment on them for no reason other than I just feel like they don't deserve a 4-day weekend. Great leadership. Yes. That's what I would say. Number 1 leadership. Fantastic.
Number 1, tier 1 leadership. So the text continues. Sergeant Major F-A-U-D-U. I don't know how to say this. How do you pronounce that? A-U-D-U.
A-U-D-U?
Mm-hmm.
Adu? Like
Sergeant Major Adu.
Not with the I?
Sergeant Major Adu compared it to being prepared for combat in reference to the uniform inspection. Because in that 48 hours, Marines... I'm reading the text. If it sounds broken, it is what it is. Because in that 48 hours, Marines weren't able to get their Charlies ready and looked bad in uniforms, wrinkled, not fitting right, etc. Then said, if your dress uniforms aren't ready at a moment's notice, how can you be ready to load a bird and go fight at a moment's notice? To which the BC then referred to 2-1 responding to HKI and how they were complacent, comparing our uniform inspection to their mission in Kabul and how they were killed because of complacency.
So this is like I've got the
original post.
1st and 4th Marines pulled up right now. Amelia is the lieutenant colonel that said this?
Yes, Lieutenant Colonel, and then Sergeant Major Udu, as I said. Adu?
Yeah, I've got the female Sergeant Major pulled up.
First female Sergeant Major of an infantry battalion. Yes, I believe so.
And that's how you start your career, baby.
Legacy.
Oh man, nothing like being the first at something and then literally walking over the graves of those that have fallen. So wait, I can't say that about the female Sergeant Major yet. I can. So this is what the battalion commander is saying. So then how do we get to the Sergeant Major? Is the Sergeant Major involved whatsoever? Does the Sergeant Major kind of sitting there like next to him like, what the fuck did you just say?
No, the Sergeant Major compared it. This is what the Sergeant Major said.
So following the lieutenant colonel's statements of him saying,
well, that was just the introductory statement, but the whole sequence of events was Sergeant Major comes out, does the thing, and then because in that 48 hours, Marines weren't prepared, that was all the Sergeant Major. To which the BC then responded with the events that I referenced in the very beginning, the hook, as it were. And so I just like lost it. I like
wait,
literally.
so then I'm confused now. So spit it out to me. So what did the Sergeant Major say?
The Sergeant Major said, hang on, let me go back. Because in that 40 hours, Marines weren't able to get their Charlies ready and looked bad in uniforms, wrinkled, not fitting, etc. Then said, if your dress uniforms aren't ready at a moment's notice, how can you be ready to load a bird and go fight at a moment's notice? To which the BC then referred to 2-1 responding to H. Kaya and how they were complacent. Statement from above.
Okay,
Which
so Sergeant Major
statement was...
Sergeant Major's doing the normal Sergeant Major thing. Sergeant Major's got a Sergeant Major. Hey, if you don't get your hair cut, how can you be disciplined? If your uniform looks trash, how can I count on you to do this thing? If you can't mop the barracks in a timely manner, how do I expect you to maintain your equipment for your troops, etc.? So Sergeant Major's just saying Sergeant Major shit, right?
Yes.
And then Battalion Commander comes on, adds on to that with the most asinine comment ever of, that's why Marines died in H. Kaya. The Marines in Afghanistan withdrawal 100% died because they weren't ready. Not at all, because maybe people in leadership positions like battalion or division command positions were like, no, I don't know what to do, even though I'm in a leadership position. Where were their Charlies? Were their Charlies fucking starched? I bet you they had the nicest fucking Dick Denim starched fucking Charlies that they ever had, and they still didn't know what the fuck to do when it came to telling a Marine to pull a fucking trigger. So I'm not mad at the fucking Sergeant Major. Sergeant Major gonna Sergeant Major. Nothing's good enough. This is why you're gonna suck in combat. But what the fuck is the Lieutenant Colonel doing saying, hey, you know what? It's because of this that these Marines died. All blame off of, let's say, higher administration, off of higher officers in command positions. Not their fault at all. Not their fault at all. 100% those Marines killed themselves, basically, because they weren't ready. It's their fault they died in Afghanistan doing exactly what their commanders told them to do, and then received zero backup from their commanders. It's their fault.
It's always interesting to me how people in leadership never really have, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, responsibility for anything that goes wrong when they're in leadership. Because, listen, what happened at Afghanistan was a nightmare scenario. There's no way around it. But
bro, you're out. Let it out, man. Tell me how you feel. Stop fucking biting your tongue. The Marines are never gonna do shit with you now because you shit on an officer, an enlisted man, pooping on an officer. You already stepped into the fucking quagmire. Fucking let it out.
They literally ignore me and waste money on other things. Like I don't care. Like and this is the biggest problem. The only way to fix a problem is to talk about what it is. So, like, they literally are talking about, like, the worst incident possible, and someone has the audacity to be like, okay, your uniforms are basically like that. First off, Tyler had positive ID. I've met the man. I've shook his hand. He knows what he's doing.
Which one, the claw one or the real one?
I shook both of them.
Good
and
for
then
you.
I kissed him right there on his mouth. And you know what? It was perfect. But he tells the story. He recounts it again on the Sean Ryan show. Or goes through it, testified in front of Congress. No one's ever been able to question him, say anything bad about him, none whatsoever. So the fact that they're using the greatest incident of the Iraq War as like a way to punish and like a metric to be like, you're gonna end up you're basically saying like you're all going to die because of this is insane. That's like saying. Let me think of it. That's like saying the Navy shouldn't have ships because Pearl Harbor happened. Like, that's insane to me.
I feel like it's saying that
was good.
The mom and dad that died in a plane in 9/11 deserved it because they didn't pack their kids' lunch enough the previous week.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Right?
And so,
I went down. Mom and dad deserved to die, Jimmy, because they didn't pack your lunch well enough. And that's why complacency, they got on this plane and just let somebody take it over. And then crash into a building and cause the largest loss of life in terrorist attack in United States history. You see, how out of touch are you? How out of touch are fucking staff officers in the Marine Corps where they just say stupid shit like this. I'd love to know what the fucking Sergeant Major said after this. Like, Sergeant Major didn't like. I mean, obviously, it's going to be in a closed door session. She's not going to, bash the battalion commander like open in the world like that. But the second that if my officer said something stupid like that, I'd be like, all right, sir, we got to go. Bring him into the room and be like, are you fucking high? Are you high?
Are you an idiot? The whole world's going to know about this now.
Yeah, are you stupid? Like, it's the, like I've said it before about social media where I get like people that message me, be like, oh, as a drill sergeant, as an NCO, like, you're still in. Like, don't you think that social media is making us look stupid? And I go, no, it's just highlighting the stupid shit. Like, yeah, you see more of like the buffoonery and the bullshit that goes on in the barracks. It's not really a lack of discipline. It's just kids being kids. You forget that like a lot of the fucking people that join up are between the ages of 17, like when I joined, and like 21. Mm-hmm. So they can't drink. Mm-hmm. They have no life experience. They're getting it there. They're put in high stress scenarios where you're alone with each other. And so you kill time by, I don't know, torturing a tarantula in the middle of 29 Palms. So what?
Yeah.
But on the other flip side,
that's what the government pays for.
What's that?
That's what the government pays for us to torture tarantulas. Yeah.
Marines are literally the U.S. government's extermination service. Drop them in, have them kill everything. But on the flip side of that, you've also got the ability for commands to see when people fuck up. Hey, listen, this was a big fuck up that probably would have gotten brushed under the rug. We need to address this and fix it. 25th ID had that happen when they had troops clearing a shoot house and it was garbage. Yeah. And then their sergeant major was like, that is not to the standard. I'm going to attack this. We're going to make sure that our troops are brought up to the standard that the 25th ID is. Climb to glory, and outstanding stuff.
Climb to glory.
Climb to fucking glory. It's one of the best slogans of a freaking unit ever.
It is.
It's the best. So, no, sorry, it's 10th Mountain. I was confusing 25th ID and 10th Mountain.
10th. It is
Mountain.
10th.
Yeah. I'm just going to get some fucking... There's going to be some comments in the fucking live stream. Yeah. Climb to Jungle Glory is 25th now. I just changed it.
You guys got too many units. No, so this like sent me in a full-blown spiral.
As it
like
should.
I just started... Because like, again, like... on a personal level, like the war, the way it ended was just nightmarish. But then literally we're a week after the anniversary. I just spent time with him in person. I've been watching the way he's moving for a while. He's dodging people taking advantage of him. He's doing things. He's representing the community well. He's literally the last injured service member of the war. And like his only goal is getting this word out about what happened. Mm-hmm. And like I have the highest opinion of him of any one person I can make. So I just made a video like in my house, just like this fucking thing. Like I made it and I like saved it and I exported it and I sent it to him and I was like, listen, I made this. If you're the only time I've ever said this to anyone, I'll post or not post this based on what you say. Mm. And he's like, you're cleared hot. And I was like, cool. Because like, because the long and short of it is what I talk about in the video is like, if there's anyone who needs to talk about this, it's someone that was literally there. He has so much knowledge. He's even testifying in front of Congress, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's ridiculous that we've lit this like level. When I talk about complacency, I don't think about the young Marines. Like you talk about they're young, they're dumb, they don't have any life experience. Most of the time, junior enlisted, their problems stem from their lack of leadership. That's a genuine lack of leadership at the highest levels. If someone's using the worst incident ever as a rod to beat them with as a metric of saying like, one, they just wanted, first off, they wanted to secure Libo. That's really what they wanted to do. Yeah. They should have just done that like real leaders, been like, hey, y'all sucked in the field. Like we still haven't found that Humvee. They did something stupid, whatever. Yeah. I had my Libo secured all the time for like lesser reasons. Yeah. Like we were in 29 Palms. A guy lost one of those like Raven things. It was like version 1 of drones. Yeah. And he lost one. And so like we had Libo secured. That was it. Like it's just, but like the lack of accountability is infuriating. And then it just sent me, I was like, I need more evidence. I need to find out more. I need to have different texts. I need to make sure this is right. And boy, did I find them.
Well, let's look over some of them. You sent them to me and I figure we'd go over it so it doesn't look like we're just talking out of our ass.
We will not reveal the names. We will not reveal the sources, but these are
confirmed troops in 1-4. Is that correct?
These are confirmed. These are confirmed people. Four different four different pieces of corroborated evidence outside of the original text.
Okay.
Okay. I spoken to my brothers in 2-1. They were. Hang on. There's an Amber Alert.
Can't ignore that.
No, I did not. I did not ignore it. It's like 4 counties over though. I've spoken to my 2-1 brothers that were also there. They were with me listening to this shit. They were there when this was happening. I'm personally ashamed that I myself did not stand up and say something. It's been eating at me since. I don't want to say anything else about that. That'll give away that person. Hang on. Blah, blah, blah. Seeing these posts made me recognize that I need to say something. Blank, blank, blank. Not just, but the families of 13. I'm sure this will be addressed after our 96 this weekend, and I will speak to it. I didn't give away, don't want to give any much more of that text. It gives away that person's stuff. Hey, brother, this is a different text. I 100% agree with what you said in your video. I'm sure some of us need to speak out, but even myself, I've never liked them to talk. But the thing is, times have changed a lot, and a lot of them are getting fucked so hard for just speaking out. This unit struggles on being heard, almost feel like he's a dictator. The unit to the point to a lot of us just gave up, which is sad. I've never liked this. I even re-enlisted feeling motivated, and this unit fucked me so hard that I've lost and I don't know what to do. I mean, and it just goes on and on and on. All of them continuing, the lack of motivation, the lack of feelings, the lack of connection to what's happening. It's just the worst.
Yeah, I see that in the fourth message that you sent me.
Mm-hmm.
That some people were getting in trouble, and the one troop responded with, "Oh, they're going after anybody who liked the post or commented on anything." That seems to be a staple of the U.S. Marine Corps. Is you guys, like, I've seen it several times where, let's see, like, what the fuck army moments or TikTok boots will post something, and then everybody will start going, "Yo, they're going after people who liked it and are in the comments. Tell your boys be careful." And then those screenshots of NCOs or other troops that are being like, "Yo, so-and-so got in trouble for commenting on it." They send it to that social media profile who posted it originally. And then the social media profile posts that and says, "Hey, look out. Don't get yourself in trouble. Is this not a form of toxic leadership? How can you not like a comment on social media?" I know that we're in the military. I get it.
It's a weird thing to do. It's a weird thing to do to where the military and your personal and your professional life, they're very, very blended. But it's weird that they're using that as another stick. They're like, what you're doing outside the uniform, how you represent stuff. I understand they don't want kids TikToking with name tapes on. I'm fine with that. I don't really care.
Yeah.
But the fact is that you're looking at someone's behavior as another metric to punish them. Why not acknowledge this? Social media doesn't make the military look bad. It just highlights what is happening. It also highlights the good.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't just cherry pick along the way. What was said was horrible. It's amazing that that person's in charge of anything at all. Like, ever. He might as well, like you said, blame 9/11 on someone not packing their lunch right. Like, it's just asinine.
Mm-hmm.
And what, he's in charge of a battalion? That's like 1,200 people. I think it is. Yeah, 4 company. Yeah, roughly that.
And like you said,
thousands of people.
There's almost nothing to compare it to. Like, I had to use 9/11, but what else? You used the worst military moment in the past. I mean, ever? Since Vietnam. I don't think there was a moment like this in Desert Storm. Yeah. I mean, maybe Black Hawk Down. Maybe Black Hawk Down. You maybe used, and I would consider this probably worse than Black Hawk Down. How many guys died in Black Hawk Down? Like 5, 7?
Something like that.
It was something like that. I know that there were a couple Delta guys that got the Medal of Honor. Literally 2 that went down to assist the...
The 2 dudes who shot it out till they ran out of bullets.
Till they ran out of fucking ammo, which makes me want to throat punch a terrorist. It's one of the most motivating things. When I was in...
To this day.
When I was in the Joint Special Operations, the JFK Special Operations Warfare Center in school, SWIC, there were murals of those guys. And, like, at first you weren't sure who, they were. And then, like, within, like, a day, you were just, like, walking by them and, like, you just saw their story every single day. You'd go to class. They just fucking
That's the way it
motivated
should
you.
be. I mean, like, they literally got out of the bird. They're like, yeah, I'll see you on the other side. I mean, like, it's just.
We're just like, fuck it. Maybe we can push them back if we kill enough. They almost
Maybe.
did.
They almost did.
They almost did.
That's the thing. People don't really talk. They held back an entire city for hours.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. So, Lord only knows what they would have done if they had a few more ammo cans lying around them.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me, there's like a statue in Texas somewhere with like one ranger with his rifle, and that's all you need. There's like an uprising in a city, and a ranger went down there with his rifle, and he was like, "I'm gonna fuck you up. So if you wanna ignore me, that's fine, but I'll shoot you." Like there's no, that's it. You're putting your life on the line now, and it's like a similar thing. But to go back, there has been no military incident to that level of loss. Maybe Afghanistan when the helicopter crashed, when the SEALs in the helicopter crashed and it killed like 10% of the DevGru guys. Do you remember that? It's like a Chinook went to go like evacuate somebody.
You're talking about Extortion 1-7?
Extortion. That's what it was. So
Extortion, yeah.
Maybe the worst moment since Extortion. And even then from Extortion till when? Somalia? And you're going to say you didn't iron your Charlies good enough? And because you didn't iron your Charlies good enough, you're going to die just like those guys in HKIA. And the way that he says it is like, because they died of their complacency, he's saying it's their fault that they died. It is on those individual Marines and single soldier. It's their fault that they died because of their complacency.
And Sailor. Yeah, there's Corpsman in there as well. But it also shows like a lack of general knowledge, which is again amazing to me that he's in charge of an infantry battalion, because both those incidents you talk about, Extortion 1-7, combat incident, they do an insert, they get hit by RPGs, combat, right? Black Hawk Down, combat, all these different things. I did a lot of training. I know I still do stuff every now and then. You do a lot of training. I don't know many people who've trained to leave a country as it's actively being overthrown and enveloped by the rest of it. More to the point, they passed up positive ID. Everything went up to their battalion commander, no less. So the failure seems systemic at this point, at that level, where people are put in places. This is what happens post-war, or as wartime ends, people either stay or go. And the ones that stay most often get over-promoted. They get elevated to positions they wouldn't have gotten to before, but through attrition, people leaving, all those different things. Like everyone else who was like just a career rifleman winds up being in charge of everything. It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Right? And that, like, I don't know. It's just, I know the military I was in, it was so different than what it is now, but I never thought it would be like this. That just happened. That was 2 years ago. Like, what are we talking about?
And where are the officers getting like held in charge of that? Where are the people that were?
They're not. They're not.
People are saying that like Donahue was a big issue with that, and he's like a 3-star now that was in charge of. I forget which airborne corps. It's a dragon. It's a blue dragon. But there's like a bunch of people that are like bucking up against General Donahue now. I'm not saying anything bad about the guy because I don't know enough about General Donahue and what he did in HKIA. I just know that just people in the internet sphere now are starting to be like, listen, you've got a pockmark on your career. Don't act like just because you were the last guy on the helicopter that you did the right things there.
I mean, I can't imagine the decisions that were made, all the different things that were happening, the tenuous agreement. You're doing what was it? Not a peace treaty. They had some type of agreement with the Taliban, ceasefire with the Taliban, blah blah blah, and you had to make decisions day in, day out.
Well, and with those decision makings, like, how do you know which battalion commander or which division commander is just like stopping the information flow and not even letting it get up to you? Let's say that Donahue was in charge of the entire HKIA, which I think he was. Yeah. Don't quote me on that. I think he was. The Marines, obviously, they're not reporting to the 82nd Airborne, right?
No,
they're reporting up to their Marine command. But ground commander is 82nd Airborne. So where in the Marines, in this like ladder of fuckery, did they go, you know what, we don't need to tell General Donahue that we got positive to the Sean Ryan episode. We're just going to let this kind of like wait out. Or did they tell Donahue, and now Donahue's the one that's like, he's left holding the bag because, well, you're in charge. I don't want to say holding the bag. You're in charge. You're in charge.
Listen to this. Everyone needs to listen to the Sean Ryan episode. Not that he needs any promotion from either one of us, but
Yeah,
like,
right.
listen to it. Tyler Vargas Andrews episode. It is long, and it is not long enough at the same time.
It's
Like
like
it
the
is worth
first, I
every
think 45 minutes are about his life and how he grew up. So if you want to get right to
incredible
H.
young man.
Kaya, it's like 45 minutes in. And then it's like 2
But
hours of H. Kaya.
and he goes line by line from the time he touched down to the moment he left. He
Mhm.
tells every single part of it, doesn't skip a beat. And like, you know, he was a sniper team leader, right? So he actually had experience, you know, passing up these types of briefs. You know, a lot of times, I don't know if people know this or not, maybe they do, but the main thing snipers do actually is brief officers. That's the number one thing they do, is they gather, if doctrinally there's what they're supposed to do the most is, you know, observe, report and pass information up the chain in order that we're, you know, leaders are able to make decisions on how they're moving troops and how they're going about conducting combat operations as a whole. That's literally what they're supposed to be doing the most, is like they're supposed to be dressed like a bush or like painted like something, and then just observing and passing up reports. So like he has experience doing that. He's done it before. Like the guy's well versed on it.
Yeah.
So I can't dress enough, but like just to see like what's happening makes me insane day in and day out. And yeah, I don't think the Marine Corps is going to sponsor me, but oh well.
I mean, I haven't been sponsored by the Army, and I've been in it for 19 years, so.
Yeah, but I interviewed the Sergeant Major of the Army.
Oh, that's right, you did. I almost
I did.
It got kiboshed. It was gonna.
No.
I didn't want to answer the questions that I had, or at least his PAO didn't respond to me after I gave him the interesting questions that I had.
There's more opportunities. We'll talk about it offline.
Yeah, I'm sure. I won't hold my breath.
But like, I mean, and this is the stuff I think about too. Like when you think about what's hurting recruiting, what's hurting efforts, what's hurting troop morale, honestly, that's the number one thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's this stuff, dude. This is the stuff that breaks you. This is the stuff that destroys units, and you know, it just puts you on a track to where I don't know where you roll back from.
Right.
You know, just the idea that people are wasting their time and their lives looking around to see what PFCs and Lance Corporals are liking on the internet. You should be doing something else.
Yeah.
You should be doing anything else than that.
You're absolutely. I never thought about it that way, but yes. Like, who are you assigning to now look at some
Headquarters
private
and
first
service
class
company?
19-year-old's Twitter feed or Instagram feed and being like, all right, big butts, big boobs, big butts, energy bars.
Yeah. A lot of OnlyFans girls.
Black Rifle Coffee. What are some 9line? Everybody, like all the stereotypical like big businesses that have come from veterans. And then
hang on.
What's that?
Okay, so Private High at 1901.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. Private High, reporting is ordered, sir.
Okay. So it says here at 1901, you liked Black Rifle Coffee. You left a comment, fire emoji, and then you went on to like a girl named Cinnamon's post at 2121, 2222, 2323. Each time you left a different listed emoji.
Cool, sir.
Wait, say for yourself. Are you a subscriber? And do you have a promo code?
Sure. I have been watching the Black Rifle Coffee social media pages for about a month after I got out of basic training, sir. Mm-hmm. And Cinnamon is a local entertainer, and I've not built a relationship with her, but the gentlemen in the barracks have said that she is very friendly, sir. And I'm just kind of observing from afar, sir.
Yep. Sergeant Major, are you listening? All right. Observing from afar. Okay. We're gonna have to do a room inspection. Okay. We're gonna do a room inspection right now. And did you say something?
Nothing, sir.
Did you say something private?
Motivated, sir.
And I need you to go get me your team leader right now.
Roger that, sir.
Do not. Dismissed. Next. It's still better than most award ceremonies that I comment on these days.
Oh my god, where they start like walking like zombies, or they pick their right foot up and their left foot up like they're a tin soldier.
Bro, that's a whole lane on the internet that drives me insane, because like I remember every award ceremony, promotion, whatever, my team leader was like, listen, you can't fuck this up. And,
just
they sit you down,
look normal.
Just like left face, right about face, get out of the fucking way, you know? Alphabetical order, dum-dum. And if they give you the wrong warrant, get it after.
Yeah,
like you don't like
swap
switch
it over there. Don't stand up there and go, me. Just take it. They're all empty anyway.
They're all empty, much
Dude, I've
like
gone
their
to
souls.
NCO development schools, and they give you your degree, your
Yeah,
certificate for passing.
how's that?
I forget what it's called. And
Mm.
1356, I forget, whatever. And
You
just,
guys make up numbers.
yeah, I know. It's just like DA form something or other. And they'll give you like a binder when you go up there and shake the hand of the
Yeah,
CO, and then the highest enlisted man and your instructor, and then you just walk off. And I don't know who the ceremony's for. It's a 3-week school. Like, who gives a shit? Please just
your
give me my
family.
paperwork and let's go. I
It's
get
for your
some of it
family.
because, if you're in the Guard or Reserve, they like, we need to work on, presentation. We want to see your
Yeah,
dress uniform. We want to make sure that you're set up for success in the future, because your unit may not find these things, may not put them at the top of the queue. So, like,
yeah.
I get it. I understand it. But at the same time, I just kind of shake my head and go, I really wish I could just leave here and get in my car 4 hours earlier than having to go through this whole dog and pony show just so then you can check my blues. Just fucking check my blues and then just let me get out of there.
Yeah, just check them on the rack, dude. Don't make
Yeah,
me put them
man. Just
on.
wire inspection
Yeah, wire inspect.
or coat
That's the
hanger
best
inspection.
I've been.
Yeah.
It's
Fucking
the best inspection.
let's go.
Hey, let me see. Yeah, it's pretty good. Got a few IPs on there. Get those cut and keep going.
Mm-hmm. Your rank is from 2 ranks ago. You need to get that changed out. Oh, roger
Good to
that.
go.
Oh, roger that.
Roger that.
Roger
Roger that. Yeah.
Cool.
I didn't know I was so good at stuff. Just like blame it on anything. I didn't expect to get promoted, sir.
My buddy
Just
used to
blame it on
just
that.
wear the Army service ribbon, but he was a little bit of a douche. So it was funny, but also douchey at the same time.
It's cool until you have a company inspection, and then Smuckatelli's not that cool anymore.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about like an E6 that had like a good rack and
Yeah,
only
yeah.
just wore like 2 ribbons just to
It's
be
pretty
like,
legit.
that's all I need is the Army service ribbon. That's all I need.
What if he's like the rest of my rack is on the back of my F-150?
My rack's not big enough to be that bold yet. Like
Who do you think was a
I have a medium-sized rack for the stuff that I've gone through and done, and I'm proud of it, but it's nothing to like put on the back of a pickup truck or an Isuzu truck.
I don't think. I think there's. I mean, I think Medal of Honors is the only one that should be proud of it. But
I have seen drill sergeants with like the drill sergeant badge sticker on the back window, and I'm like, that's what I'm kind of really proud of that. I would do that. I haven't.
I just
Maybe
want to
I'd
know
put
who's
the
the
sticker
first
on like
one.
a cooler. That's what I would do. I think I have a drill sergeant sticker on one of my like igloo coolers.
That's cool.
I feel like that's
Do you
appropriate. Like, don't put it, if you're going to put it on your truck, just stop and put it on a cooler. And then you can put the cooler in the back of your truck. And now you're driving around with a cooler, and you win because your sticker's on there, and there's probably beer in there, so now you're motivating your troops, and now you're the cool guy. Don't put stickers on trucks.
Yep.
Put it on coolers. Fill the coolers. Put said coolers in your truck. You win.
This truck talk here.
Truck talk here.
I just want to know who's the first guy who put a sticker on the back of his truck, like how he made it, how he went about doing it, how it became a business. Hey, are you a veteran?
It was a first sergeant.
Do you like stickers?
It was a first sergeant. A first sergeant. Somebody made the sticker, like, ironically, and then somebody saw it, like, driving by and unironically said, oh, my God, everybody knows that guy driving is a first sergeant. I need to get one so everybody knows that I'm a first sergeant.
Yeah, and then it started with rank, and then it slowly became ribbons.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I forgot to tell you. Oh, dude, I'm so upset. I wanted to tell you this. It's been a week of upset. I was going to the VA. I'm not trying to brag, but I had to get some
so you're super
annual
disabled. Wow, good for you.
Yeah, I had to get some annual labs or whatever. And right as I pulled in, the VA always gives gifts. It always treats me, but this time was the best ever. I pull in, and what do I see? I see a ridiculous H2 with an MPG of 3, right? Marine Corps front vanity license plate.
Beautiful.
Semper Fi as the rear license plate.
Does it have the full Fidelis or just Semper Fi?
Just Semper Fi. And it was like the vowels were removed. Whatever made it work. And then in the back it was skulls. It was just skulls.
Of course.
All across the back. and I couldn't get my phone out fast enough. I was like, no, God, please, no, please. I was like, I'll just follow this guy, but I didn't want to become a skull in the back seat of his car.
You would have been.
It was the window tint thing. Like, he can see out, but like,
yeah, you don't know that gunnery sergeant of supply is a soul snatcher.
Apparently, he's like, there's one for each thing I've stolen from people at supplies. But no, this is that made me mad, and I thought that would be the only thing to get me. But seeing this statement from the battalion commander, Sergeant Major was there. I don't know exactly what she said, but like, it just to me more than anything, all this really signifies is a huge downgrade in I don't know, the Marine Corps as a whole, and I don't understand why they continue to run from these blatant issues that continue to plague them.
Well, brother, listen, the only bonus you need is the title U.S. Marine.
There you go. There it is. What time? Somebody time hack that. Took them long enough.
That, yeah.
But
it's kind of a shitty bonus when your leadership, who are Marines, are shitting all over Marines.
It is what we're best at as Marines. No one hates Marines like Marines.
Like Marines, the most backbiting DOD department.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be a good weekend, Rich. Football started. I spent all day yesterday at a college football game. Incredible.
Yeah,
Incredible.
Isn't Thursday first game of the season?
I believe so. I
forget who's playing. I just know that my Buffalo Bills are playing on Monday.
Here we go. Buffalo Bills.
New Jersey Jets. Did you know that the only team in New York, the only football team that plays in New York, their stadium in New York is the Buffalo Bills? Otherwise, the Jersey Giants and the Jersey Jets.
Brought to you by Bills Mafia. Be sure to find angry cops there with the Merv.
That's true. Breaking tables, blowing minds.
It is. It is a dream of mine to come to a Bills Mafia game with you. But no, I don't. I've thought about this, and I have so much anger, it's probably blocking my logic center. But I don't know what the cure for this problem is. I don't know what the solution is. I mean, that someone ever had a thought like that they're like, let's use this example as a way to make the Marines feel bad. Let's basically tell them they're all going to die because their uniforms aren't working or up to date. Let's make them, and it's something they all remember, let's make them feel less than. Let's insult the memory of everyone who died there. Like, there's so many different layers to it. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how to fix it.
It's just such a dumb, all-encompassing dumb statement, because with just that small, stupid statement of like 2-3 sentences, he's able to not just completely blow something out of proportion. Not only to like denigrate his Marines, but then to shit on, I don't want to say it's a legacy, but perhaps the legacy of Marines and their ability to just take whatever the country gives them in the shittiest positions and go, no matter what, we're still going to fucking stand here. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like that battle cry of like, yeah, you know what, we had a couple of guys get blown up yesterday at HKIA, but we're not going to fucking move. Fuck you, we're still here. It's like the Marines are the most defiant group of people in the world, in a good way, to where you can't fucking move them. It is that immovable force meets an unstoppable force meets an immovable object thing. And then he's just like fucking shitting on the object.
Dude, and it's not since Kanye West went on Alex Jones has one person found a way to insult so many different people at once. Like, it's literally I can't think of it if he was like, and another thing that, like, I don't know what he could have done worse. Like, he insulted the entire military. Like, I don't know. And like, we used to be defiant, dude. The Marine Corps used to be like known for its like, we're kind of rough on the edges.
You're supposed to be the bad boys. You're supposed to be the bad boys. You're supposed to clean up, get a nice haircut, but at the same time, you're supposed to be like the guy in the middle of a bar getting tattoos on your chest that stabbed a foreigner, in Okinawa. You're like, yeah, I got in like 3 fights in Okinawa, and now the triads are trying to kill me. And you're like, but they won't come on post because they're afraid of the Marines. Like, okay.
This is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be like, just a little bit wild. Like you're rough around the edges. You're you know what you are? You're like Rufio and Hook.
Yeah.
You're a bad boy with a mohawk and a sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You're Hook, maybe. I don't know.
Take me to the brig.
Whatever.
I want to see the real Marines. It's my favorite quote.
That's what they used to be.
It used to be. Now
dude,
it's like they kick you out because you got a tattoo that goes longer than your sleeve.
They did. And that's what they did. When they did that, dude, they said no to like their only chance of retaining leadership, wartime leadership, moving forward until the next conflict that inevitably will happen. When I go, and I'm proud to go, every time I go to Fort Campbell, I love the 101st. I love Bastogne up there, 1BCT. I love everyone up there. Rakkasans, they're all so great.
I had to play with Bastogne. I was with them in Kirkuk, Iraq in 2006
loved them.
and 7.
Loved them. I even did a spur ride.
No slack! That was my battalion.
Yeah. Bro, loved them. Every time I go up there, I see Marines. They were either in right after I was or right the time that I was. And every single time, doesn't matter what I'm doing, no matter who I talk to. I was in the Marine Corps. I loved the Marine Corps, but they made rules about tattoos. I had to leave. I had to leave. And I'm like, oh, dude, I couldn't have stayed in either. Like I had all this stuff already like worked on before. Like I just had this stuff over here that was outside of whatever. It's like, what am I going to do? I wouldn't have got promoted. And it was just these slow evolutions to try and dull the razor that is the Marine Corps that I don't know what to do to fix it other than putting like a wartime fighting commandant back in there. Someone who like, we need a new General Mattis is what we need. We need someone at the top leading like that. That's what we need.
One of the guys in the chat says he works next to Legal on Camp Pendleton, so he gets a front row seat of all the Thunderdome to the Thunderdome of jackassery, and he processes boots fresh out of the schoolhouse.
I can only imagine what that's like. The stories he gets told.
Yeah, I know the story that he lives because now he's gonna look into this shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what can fix it. This is what I'm saying. Like the armies, from everything I can see, their focus is war fighting. That's what I'm hearing from everyone. They're like doing things to say, like they're for better or worse. The fitness tests are changing, but they're trying to make their soldiers stronger, faster, smarter.
Oh, I fucking hate that shit. They're like, we want to go back to push-ups, sit-ups, and a run. Go fuck yourself. I like this new one. Everybody likes the new one. At first, we were all like, you know what? It's kind of weird, whatever. But now, like, no, I get it. It fucking kicks your ass. It's a great overall thing.
Well, it's supposed to be. The old physical fitness tests were phone-ins. You're just like, okay. Like, anyone can do 100 sit-ups. Anyone can do 100 push-ups.
Can run 2 miles in 16, 17 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, because you didn't have any stress on you. Now you get like 19 minutes because the sprint drag carry, oh my God, it toasts you. It absolutely
it's a whole different.
You.
That's what you're supposed to. You're supposed to work different, types of situations. It's supposed to be applicable. Like everything else feels like presidential fitness tests, but I don't know.
Like you're in high school and you're just doing that shit all over again.
Yeah, and like after this, we'll smoke. Like it's just like 1950s knowledge of fitness. You know what you need? More butter up there, boy.
Yeah, you got to get one of those exercise bands that you wrap around your waist and it vibrates the fat off you.
Someone made a killing off that. But no, I think now more than ever, the Marine Corps needs to look outward as a way to fix the problems inward because like otherwise it's just going to continue to leak.
Well, dude, I'm telling you, Marines are looking outward. They're looking right at the United States Army. And
I mean, it's hard to argue, dude.
No better soldier than a previous Marine. We love them. For the most part,
Army loves
Marines
them.
come into the Army, they fucking kick ass. They're great. Squared away dudes.
I mean, I can join the Army until I'm 40. And I've got 4 more years that I might just kick around. I might show up
be a nasty
39
girl,
and went.
Join the dirty girls. In fact, it might be longer for you because you've got active service in, so you might be able to come in after
I've got active service and 2 college degrees, so I get a buffer.
Oh, you could come in you could be a Mustang. You could.
It's just a full circle. Like I just like walk around.
In 3 years, you're gonna be a captain and in the Army Reserves or Guard, and there's gonna be a story about you saying like, if you guys would just PMCS your vehicles a little bit better, you wouldn't be like all those idiots that died on D-Day. You could have ran off of the ship faster and made it to those dirty, what are the fucking Krauts? Those dirty Krauts. Yeah. You would have killed them all. But you know what? You died like everybody's grandfather face down on the beach in the water because you don't know how to look at a vehicle and determine whether or not there's enough blinker fluid.
Yeah, if you cowards knew how to get the air pressure in your tires done right, you wouldn't have been like those losers at Guadalcanal.
That's
you know?
right. If you guys would just understand how to properly fill out your DTS, your Defense Travel Services allotments, you wouldn't be like the shows in Frozen getting marched to death. It's their own fault.
Yeah. You disgust me. You disgust me with your inability to update your uniforms, much like those losers at the Battle of the Bulge.
How do I know?
Easy Company was lazy. That's why they had to jump out.
That's why they had to do it.
Easy Company had to run up that mountain.
You didn't update any of your family stuff on Deers? Well, that's just like those pieces of shit of the Baton Death March. Maybe they should have checked their feet a little bit faster and shuffled a little bit quicker. I hope that Lieutenant Colonel sees like this specific portion of this. Maybe I should cut this part and be like, this is how dumb you sound. This is how horribly dumb.
In my mind, he's smoking. Well, he's not smoking, he's vaping. He's like, listen, okay? Do you know that the Marines of Tarawa, they would have done a lot better if their uniforms were up to code.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, sir. Oh, yeah, I'll be your sergeant major. I'll just be walking around.
Yeah. You know what? These haircuts.
Hey, soldier. How about you stand in a position of attention when the fucking commander's talking to you about your lackadaisical stuff, all right?
That's okay, Sergeant Major. That's okay.
No, sir, it's not okay. He's not paying attention. Just like those poor bastards who totally deserve to be in the Hanoi Hilton tortured during Vietnam. They absolutely deserved it because they weren't listeners just like this son of a bitch right here.
You're right, Sergeant Major. You're right.
Say it
Old
again,
McCain
sir.
really deserved it. You're right, Sergeant Major.
Woo.
Old John McCain. If he'd been paying attention, it wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean?
He could have lifted his
Jane
arms
Fonda.
this high. If only he would have just learned.
Yeah. What a coward. What a coward. Yep.
Well, on that note of bringing in war hero John McCain.
I did see John McCain in person too. I once saw him. He had a gnarly scar, and I met him like on a high school trip. I had to graduate through a small Christian university because I got kicked out of public schools. But one of the perks was we did trips, got to meet him, talk to him. He's still, I mean, he was 70. He was 70 something. I don't know how old he was, but he still walked back, chest stuck out like a man, still with a gnarly scar on the side of his face.
He got the shit.
One of the greatest American. Didn't blink for a second. The Admiral's son. They had all sorts of leverage. He said, "I leave when my troops leave," and that's what I think. That's what leadership looks like.
And then they tortured the shit out of him
for years. He had to pretend Jane Fonda was a good actor. I mean, that alone was the worst. When she was like, "Oh, they're fine here."
Like, you don't need Americans here. Like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it's weird that people listen to her opinion on anything when they forget that thing she.
It's like, Jane,
forever.
You went where they were allowed, where they wanted you to go, and China was like ruling that entire thing, just like Korea beforehand. It was like a proxy war with China and communism all over again.
She literally said on the tank.
Mao's China. Outstanding, Jane. No, really, I love your political discourse. Tell me more. Jane Fonda's in the news again for saying something about something stupid.
She's always, but that's what I'm saying. She's always in the news about this stuff, and it's just like no one needs to listen to anything she says ever.
Yeah. What do they?
Even when I go to the VFW, they have a target in the urinal at all the VFWs. Like, it's the Hanoi AIM, whatever.
Hanoi Jane.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a fucking bitch.
Well, that's all for two angry guys on the internet today.
On that note, go ahead and check out angry-cops.com so you can get some fantastic Angry Cops t-shirts, stickers, mugs. I have one right here with my E4 Mafia on it. It's kind of worn now because it's my favorite cup, and I've brought it around for the past, 3 years. But, Zach, where can they find you?
You can find me at Veteran with the Sign on all platforms. Start with YouTube, subscribe, then go to Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. I'm there. Check it out. Veteran with a Sign on all platforms. Please, if you know any of the Marines there and 1-4, reach out and tell them we're doing everything we can to bring this to light and keep their chins up. We're not going to let this slide.
Yeah. All right, brother. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate you.
Thank you. We'll do it live. That's it. You should share it this evening. Marines blame Afghanistan withdrawal. I get my most engagement on Sunday evening at like 7. Like, people are on the internet the most then. It's insane, actually.